Well, it has been a dismal week for cryptocurrency investors, putting in its worst weekly decline that we have seen this year, slumping to a 2-month low. Nevertheless, it's still sitting at nearly 60% gain so far in 2023. Let's bring in Mike Novogratz, founder and CEO of Galaxy Digital. Mike, thanks so much for being with us. You know, the first question I'm going to ask is what had prices down so far in the past week? How are you thinking about it?
Well, let me just start with, we had a lot of good news that got priced into the market, right? We had the perception that the Fed was getting close to the end of its hiking cycle. We had a big win from Ripple over the SEC on if Ripple was a security or not, which I think the whole crypto market was focused on. We had BlackRock and then Invesco filing, for ETFs, and a real sense that this time will be different and that within some period of time, the SEC will approve a cash ETF here in the United States. And so you put those three things together, plus a healthy U.S. stock market, and, you just had a really good environment for crypto. And, what's happened in the last couple of weeks, the long end of the U.S. yield curve has broken down, right? So the yield curve has steepened, interest rates are higher. And there's a perception that maybe the Fed won't hike again, but they're not going to be cutting anytime soon. The U.S. economy has been stubbornly strong. And so you're kind of taking a little wind out of the sails for that Bitcoin narrative. Short-term traders got long, they got stopped out. And so while it feels pretty horrible because, we were at 29,000 a week ago and we're at 26,000 today, in big picture, we're still up 57-60% on the year. There's still lots of positive things happening in the crypto eco space.
And I'm going to unpack all of that, but you mentioned a few regulatory issues. And of course, we know that the SEC is going after the likes of Coinbase and Binance. And I spoke with the CEO of Coinbase, Brian Armstrong, when they announced their further expansion into Canada a few weeks ago. I asked, does he think that the U.S. essentially with its regulatory moves is trying to kill crypto? It might be on nuances, it might be on lack of, clarity on what the legislation is, but that's kind of the underlying motivation. What do you think of that?
Listen, there certainly has been a feeling this year specifically, and even last year, that the Biden administration are no fans of crypto. Gary Gensler at the SEC has at least been trying to clean it up, in his words. There were a lot of bad actors. There was a lot of bad behavior. And, the risk is he throws the baby out with the bathwater. What has been unbelievably frustrating is, Gary at the SEC has said, hey, the rules are clear. And a judge, in the Ripple case made it really obvious that the rules are nothing but unclear. And so we've been hoping at Galaxy just to get some clarity of rules coming out of D.C. And, it felt like last year, there was some movement towards bipartisan legislation that could help define who regulates and what they get to regulate. That fell apart after the FTX debacle. It's gaining a little bit momentum again, but I don't think anything happens before the election.
You mentioned that there are risks, and I wonder, risks to whom? Does it really matter to the U.S. if they don't adopt crypto? And how much does it matter to those in crypto if the U.S. decides we're just going to turn our back on the space? It's just not for us.
Well, listen, crypto and blockchain technologies are not going away, right? Bitcoin has already established itself as a global store of wealth. I mean, BlackRock's Larry Fink came out and said it's the first global currency. Larry Fink's the largest asset manager in the world. And so I don't think Bitcoin's going away, and it will be part of every macro trader's and most investors' portfolios. Stable coins are not going away. The U.S. will regulate stable coins at one point, but last year stable coins did more volume than Visa and MasterCard combined. And so, overseas, you're seeing huge uptick in stablecoin usage. It's going to be part of the U.S. economy as well. And so in time, the U.S. will get there. What's frustrating is in the short run, it's pushing development offshore. It's pushing employees offshore. We're moving people offshore. Coinbase is moving people offshore. I think any global system needs the U.S. The U.S. is too big of an economy, right? $27 trillion economy. for a system to thrive without it. And so this is just a frustrating setback. I think we'll make progress in the next 18 months, certainly as the election comes and passes. Even if the Democrats win, I think the fresh setting of the agenda, because at its core, there's no reason crypto is Republican and not Democrat, right? It should be very bipartisan. It's really progressive at its core.
You mentioned stable coins, and there are some legislative efforts underway on that front. But to your point, it is in fits and starts. And against that backdrop, you had Coinbase take a stake in Circle, which is the biggest issuer, which is the issuer of USDC. What's the significance of that? Do you see a world in which Circle could go public? Yeah,
listen, I mean, Coinbase already had a partnership with Circle when they started this Circle Foundation. A lot of Coinbase's earnings come from the stablecoin, right? Interest rates are 5%. People get paid zero on owning stablecoins. And so that 5% on $40 billion is a whole lot of money every year. And Coinbase gets a chunk of that. And so those are great businesses. I kick myself for not being in the stablecoin business myself. I don't think those margins last, right? The markets are efficient in the long run. And while right now an interest-bearing stablecoin doesn't really exist because it would look like a security, it makes too much intuitive sense to me that at one point we won't have stablecoins that pay interest. There'll be a regulatory regime, I hope, that allows for that. And then you really do bank the unbanked, right? Then that hooks the payment systems up, and it's a huge threat to banks. Right now, if I have my money at JP Morgan in my checking account or my savings account, they're giving me 1 basis point of interest, right? Where a T-bill pays 5.5%. And so it's insane that people have their money in banks as opposed to money market funds. There's laziness, there's friction. And I think once there's a stable coin that allows that, it's a game changer.
I wonder if you kick yourself about making Galaxy Digital a publicly traded company. Do you regret going public? You know, sometimes you fail to capture the upside in crypto. You overshoot on the downside. Is this, something that you foresee continuing in the public markets? And why would people turn to you if, in fact, there is a spot sort of Bitcoin ETF available?
Listen, companies like Galaxy are a lot more than just being long Bitcoin, right? We have a dynamic trading business, a derivative business, a lending business, an asset management business, an investment banking business, an infrastructure business. And so, shareholders buy into that complexity and diversity of businesses and hopefully a more stable earnings stream. We do own crypto. We do own investments in the space. More than once in our 5-year public history in Canada, the market did care about what we were doing and traded us at a good valuation, which gives you access to capital markets. We saw recently in the United States, all the crypto companies, Coinbase, MicroStrategy, Marathon, Riot, these mining companies traded with spectacular excitement, both volume and price. Mining companies trading at 5, 6, 7 times book on massive turnover. That hasn't happened in the Canadian markets. It's been frustrating. One of the reasons why we've been trying to dual list in the United States and get ourselves uplisted is there's just a lot more liquidity, and certainly a lot more liquidity in crypto names there right now than in Canada. But we're in Canada. We got public there. We're trying to connect to Canadian investors and tell our story. We think it's a great story. Our stock trades wildly cheap in my mind, 0.75 times book-ish. And so that makes no sense, giving us no enterprise value. When I think over the last 2 years, Galaxy has been one of the survivors. Lots of our competition has fallen by the wayside. And even though the pond at crypto has shrunk, we're a much bigger fish in a smaller pond.
Are you buying